Lovely day. So today I'm going to ride to Poland. I'm going to cross the border. Amazing.
So the idea on this trip was to cycle and camp through a new part of Europe on my way to Sweden, to my husband's place. It's easy to take a folding bike on the train, and the rail network puts a huge range of places within easy reach. I'd left London 6 days ago, early in the morning with my Brompton, and by late afternoon I was in Hamburg. I unfolded the bike and I cycled 6 days through the former East Germany, camping along the way. Now I was on the Baltic coast and the end of my journey was in sight. On a trip like this, I take all my food with me to make it really efficient so that I don't waste time looking for food and struggling to buy ingredients in small packets and things. I make dehydrated meals at home and I measure out and pack all the rest of the food too that I need for lunches, breakfast and snacks. Now I was near the end of the trip and everything was nearly used up.
Running really low on fuel. I've used a whole bottle, which is actually not very much, but the thing is, because I'm using dehydrated food, you only need to slightly boil some water and then leave it to soak and then hot the food up and you're done. There's no kind of long cooking time of potatoes or frying onions and things like that, so you really economize on fuel, which is one of the reasons to do it. I'm going to see about this, whether I can have a pancake or not. I've got to be able to cook tonight and then breakfast the next morning. It's getting really low in the bottle. I might just have one.
I made some coffee first and then thought I would make a pancake with the little bit of fuel that was left in the burner, which I hope would be just enough.
Oh, the flame is dying. Oh no.
The thing is, you can't refill the burner when it's hot, so if the fuel runs out, that's it. No nice pancake.
Still cooking. Come on. Right. I think it's perfect. Brilliant. Look at that.
So I sat and watched people in caravans, wondering what life was like for them with so much more stuff. And then I packed up my tent and I rolled away.
I just love how it's so quiet. Like, I just left the campsite and nothing happened. I didn't need to talk to anybody. I mean, I don't mind talking to people, but there's no booms having to go up and dropping things off, and I don't know what the caravan people do, but I'm sure it's quite involved. And then I'm sure it's nice listening to music and everything. In fact, they were playing a Bruce Springsteen song in the toilets. They play music in toilets and campsites in Germany and showers. Mostly 80s stuff. Anyway, I really like the Bruce Springsteen, so that was nice. But now I'm just perfectly happy with what I can hear, which is larks and the wind and my wheels just rolling along. I love that. I love how quiet and peaceful it is. Simple, so simple.
So the plan today was to ride about 65 kilometres along the coast, catch a ferry over to the island of Usedom and then ride to the Polish border and camp in Poland. As you'll see, a few things didn't go as expected.
Probably too far away to see, but that blue streak over there is the Baltic Sea, and I'm going to be going along the coast here, and I'm looking forward to see what it's like.
It was lovely here, pretty villages, romantic architecture and signs explaining about how the region was popular with early German romantic painters who came on happy honeymoon holidays here and things like that. But then everything changed. First, I got slightly lost in a wood when leaving a village called Lubmin.
Slightly wrong here. So I'm going to see if I can go through the wood to get back to the main road. Might not work. Okay, I think we're going to take this. Yes! Oof. God, this is easy.
And then strange things started to happen.
I don't know what this is. Just a weird smell of like bacon and cheese. Quite nice actually. Like that soft cheese that you get in Sweden. I just saw a massive ferry. Honestly, a huge ferry.
So there was a weird smell, a strange, huge ship, and signs now for the federal police. And I was not in a pretty holiday resort at all, but at some kind of massive factory.
I don't know what this is. Tricky on this little path here.
There was a railway abandoned.
Doesn't look used though, does it? It's rusty. This isn't what I expected at all.
So what I found out later was that this was the former Lubmin nuclear power station. It was built with help from Soviet Russia. In 1990, after the old East German regime collapsed, it was shut down because it didn't meet safety standards. And now it's one of the largest nuclear ruins in the world. So there's the huge abandoned nuclear power station, and actually right next to it, the big white thing which I'd seen through the trees earlier and thought was a giant ferry, was actually part of the controversial Nord Stream gas pipeline from Russia to Europe, which is also now abandoned. The pipeline comes in here at the little village of Lubmin. I don't know what the bacon and cheese smell was. I never found out. Anyway, what I was trying to do was cross from the mainland onto an island here. On the map, there seemed to be a ferry from a place called Friest. So Friest turned out to be a lovely fishing village. People told me there was no ferry, however, at the moment for some reason, which was a blow.
Pommes, burger, bratwurst and something else. Oh, sounds very good.
But they were serving the German version of fish and chips, so I decided to make the most of that.
Hallo, Matthias mit Pommes. Bitte. Wir essen, ne? Zum Daessen?
Ja, 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 danke. Da ist
Einmal bestellst du aber die Pommes noch Ketchup oder Mayo raus?
ein kleines bisschen Mayo. Ah, nein,
Ketchup?
Ketchup, ja. Danke.
So, alles?
Ja, alles.
9,70 €.
Ja, vielen Dank. Oh, es geht schon. Ja, ja, bitte schön.
So, dann kriegst du einmal den Pieper noch
Aha,
mitnehmen.
ja, danke.
Und wenn der was macht, herkommen und abholen, ja?
Ja, super.
Gut.
Thank you. I'm not quite sure. I think that's pickled herring. Well, it looks great. I wasn't entirely sure. I ordered Matthias And I thought it was going to be herring, and it is herring.
So great, a hot lunch meant no need to cook in the evening, and that turned out to be a really good thing, as you will see. So then, as there was no ferry, I headed south down the mainland to find the bridge, which was about 12 kilometres away.
Right, so I've just turned over the page, and this is the last part of the journey. So the bridge must be there. Fingers crossed it's all okay for bike.
Things always get a bit more nerve-wracking when you get to the end of a trip and when there's a deadline. I had already now bought a ferry ticket from Poland to Sweden for the following day, and I didn't have time now to make mistakes.
Bought a ticket now, so I mean it's not far left. Maybe, gosh, how much is it? 25, 30. Actually about 40k left to do.
I was still nervous about getting onto the island. On some big bridges you're forbidden to ride a bike, and I saw this warning sign about what looked like very limited opening times.
Right, so this is Volgast, and apparently the bridge is fine, although there was a sign then saying you should only do it at certain times of day, but I'm just going to do it. I think it's down there.
I found that riding over the bridge was actually easy. I had misunderstood the warning sign completely. It had shown the times not when the bridge is open for road traffic, but when it opens as a drawbridge to let boats through.
Whew. So that is mainland Germany, and this is the Baltic island of Usedom.
So the island of Usedom was connected by rail to Berlin in the late 1800s, and the German Kaiser made Usedom his favourite summer destination. So it was a sort of posh resort island.
I just came along a little path here, and it's a lovely beach. Wow, wow, it's so empty.
I was tired and struggling a bit here. It was already 4 p.m. and I still had about 30 kilometres to do. I didn't ride much of the cycle path along the shore because I was worried it would be rough surfaces and fiddly, and I took mainly the cycle path along the road, hoping that that would be easy and fast. But actually it involved a lot of unpaved sections anyway, and I was tired.
Actually, it's just not been that easy on the island. It's a big main road, and then sometimes the bikes are sent off on tracks and things like that. It's fine, but 30k still to go, quite a long way. But coffee, oh gosh, so nice.
So the coffee perked me up, but I was puzzled actually by Usedom. I ended up not really seeing it properly. It was out of season, and the old hotels and things that I did see felt kind of forlorn and strange.
It's all slightly weird, I think, to me anyway. I guess it looks better when it's all in full swing. It's a little bit weird at the moment. Anyway, I'm really close to the border now. I don't know, less than 10k. Yeah, exciting.
It was about 5:30 now, and I was feeling pretty uncertain about everything. I was aiming for the port city of Świnoujście.
Plan is to camp in the town, actually. There's apparently a campsite. I wrote an email to them, but they haven't replied. So I'm just going to go and see about that.
I'm not used to camping in towns, and I had no idea how things worked in Poland. But here I was, finally at the border.
Ta-da! I'm in Poland.
Now I had to work out what to do.
Check the weather. It's going to be a massive thunderstorm at 6, and it's kind of 5:30 or something now. There is a sudden, like, whoosh, the wind suddenly like blew really hard from a different direction then from behind me. Uh-oh, I think I can feel raindrops. So I don't know what to do actually at all. Camp or get the night boat. The thing is, I've already paid for the boat tomorrow. It's only 50 quid.
So I was going to get the ferry to Sweden from the port here, and I had planned to do it the next day.
That was silly of me. I was being all efficient. Let's see what the campsite looks like. I don't really know whether... I've no idea. I'm feeling my way. So I just rang the ferry company. Pole ferries they're called. I just thought maybe I can change my ticket. A lovely guy called David in their help centre said yes, no problem. So I've booked myself onto the 10:30 ferry tonight. So now it's coming up to 6 o'clock. So I'm just going to cruise through town and go to the ferry terminal, and this will be all nice and warm and lovely. I mean, it's even perfect because I had that hot lunch, so I've had a proper meal, so I can just eat up some more of the oatcakes and things I normally have for basic lunches with butter and so on. So it's perfect. It's going to rain. Really windy suddenly. Look, it's lovely.
It was really lucky I had lots of time actually, because it turned out that to get to the international ferry terminal you had to cross over the Reever to another island.
In a rush because that takes ages. So now I've got to find the ferry terminal. It's not dull. Windy. Actually, though, the weather hasn't been as shockingly bad as they said. It hasn't rained yet. And I'm kind of fine now because I think I'm probably there. Okay, we'll work this out now. Terminal. France, let's hope.
And so we go.
And I caught the night boat to Sweden. So I had wanted to go from the UK to Sweden to my husband's place, and I chose to go partly by bike because on a bike you move at human pace, so you can hear and see what's around, you can easily talk with people, you breathe the air, you smell the seasons changing, and you feel the contours of the land. Travelling by bike, you cannot help but be fully present in the moment you're in. Going simply from A to B, anywhere, and just finding out what's there, you discover so much.
Gosh,
With
lovely.
minimal stuff, you feel so free and can still enjoy comfort and luxury, whether it's a short commute to work on familiar roads or a longer journey in places new. To me, time on a bike is never wasted time, because rain or wind or sun, the journey is always interesting, a precious thing, not to endure, but to enjoy. 1 week after I left London, I arrived in Sweden.